Hey, what's up? This is 36 Drew coming to N3O Clan representing. I am fresh off one hell of a game, and I am pumped to be bringing this VOD to you. The matchup we have here is 36 Drew coming to you versus GlamourCars4Hire, which, for your information, if you look closely at the screen, it looks like Lieutenant Colonel versus Lieutenant Colonel. But the reality of the matter is it is Lieutenant Colonel versus Lieutenant General. PR32 versus PR46. And we are going to get going with this down and dirty. And hopefully you can have some fun watching this VOD. Hopefully it will be entertaining. Hopefully it will be all of those things. The map that we have here is Indochina, and actually right off the start here I'm a little bit slow microing things. My mouse is a little screwy. I was expecting that my computer would load a little quicker. For whatever reason it took a little while there. I am in the 7 o'clock position as British. This is another British VOD, as lately they have been my civ of choice. He will be in the 12 o'clock position as Sioux. Of course, as the description says, the waters are ripe and plentiful for fishing here. And indeed, as you'll see, they are, though I must admit I never really planned to use them like I did. I've still enough wood for 2 houses there, so I will build 2 houses. I only have 65 wood, or 60 wood left over, so I'm definitely not going to chop to build a 3rd house. Here I'm just making small talk early game. I just tend to do this as a player. I just say from. Says where he's from. He's from UK. I'm like, oh, cool. And in my head, I know, like, PR46, he's got to be pretty damn good. I wasn't sure exactly where that puts him on the power rating, but I was thinking top 25, and when I looked after, he was at 12. And that was after he took the loss from me, which undoubtedly did a bit of a number on his PR. Not like I'm trying to brag or anything like that. Or take anything away from him, because he's ranked number 12 in the world and I'm not. But yeah, that had to hurt a little. So anyway, let's talk more about the matchup. At the start of this match, I'm debating on how to play this scenario. I'm thinking in my head I can go for actually an infantry-based approach, just out of a barracks. Muskets and elbows. Elbows, not like the part of your body. Muskets and longbows. Add some pikes if necessary. Early on, you'll notice I took out one of the guardians on that XP treasure, which I don't end up coming around to. In this scenario, I'm just trying to look around, find where my second hunt is. Even though there's going to be a little bit of town center idle time here, I'm still going to go for 17 vills. Often when you have 18 vills, people go for the still aging up, so you're up at 430. I prefer to have my town center go idle for a little bit, and you know, just to get up at, let's say, like 415. I don't know why. I just feel so much better. I don't feel like the one villager in the British economy is that big of a hit. I mean, percentage-wise, it's maybe 6% early. If you have 20 villagers, it'd be 5%, and you don't quite have 20, so maybe 6.5%, something like that. One of the things you'll notice here is, of course, I'm going to be clicking this like mad, and I think you can hear it in the in-game audio since I've left the in-game audio with this. And because you can't be late on that button at all. I put all but 2 villagers to wood during the transition. First building up will be a market. Next up will be a house, and I'm going to add a 2nd house during the up just because generally I find it doesn't slow you down that much. And since I'm already going to be up at 415 or so, I find I can get that 2nd house for sure. I'm not too concerned about scouting him. I'm actually expecting in this combination, I'm expecting him to go axe riders and bow riders, kind of like Tattletale does. That's just what I'm expecting, but I'll talk more about that as game goes on. You'll see GlamourCars4Hire comes in with his war chief. He starts attacking me. I got more HP than he does, so I'm like, get out of there, and I'm happy to take that treasure. Right there, I actually shouldn't have walked into that space, even because since I hover a mouse over a treasure like that, I know that I can't gather it. I'm also going to say right off the bat in this game, my micro, I don't know if I'd be proud of it, but my boom, I'm pretty proud of in this game. So maybe pay attention to that. Also, building placement at the start. All those buildings are designed up there to act as a wall. Strokey Blofeld, aka Jim, would be very proud of that. As with some of the other British players, Kaiser von Nubben, as I've shouted out to in other VODs, who basically deserves a shout out every day for something because he always does things that are worthy of shout outs. Going for my second hunt there, a little late. Should have been on that quicker, but whatevs. Shit happens. Pardon my French. And I do have French in my blood, so I am allowed to say pardon my French. My stables was going up, or not stables, my barracks was going up right away. I had villagers set to control group, so I was able to, get it up right, not even any delay at all. And I'm just sort of picking up some of the small treasures here with my explorer. I'm always at a hard time at this point whether I should be scouting or picking up some treasures. Anyway, I decide to go for picking up the treasures. My resource balancing here is basically I have 9 on food and the rest on wood. And of course, during the age up, I researched hunting dogs and gang saw. I have villagers gather the gold right off the bat, simply if I need to call Minutemen. And my first card in Colonial was 700 wood. I'm gonna, I believe, go for the exact build order which people often recommend on paper from a theoretical perspective, which is 700 wood, 5 vills, 600 wood, and 4 vills. My intention in the game was to follow that exclusively, and then to adapt to the situation between then. There's some situations where I don't necessarily play that right away. I'm under a lot of pressure, need colonial militia, any of those things. Just something to think about. I'm a little bit scared of how he's going to pressure me, though. I mean, his rank is just so much higher than mine. And I can hear the phone ringing in the background, and I am not going to answer the phone. I don't think so. I'll call my woman back in a bit. Early raid, there's not a whole lot of... he just sent the minimum amount he could there. And when I had 3 pikes, along with my villagers attacking him, and my longbows, it's just like GG for that little horse army. Also, I have researched villager HP. I'm almost certain at this point. I could be wrong, but it puts their HP up to 202 from roughly 160 or 165. It's essential as Brits. Also, at some point, you generally want to research villager attack, though it is not as essential as the villager HP. So I'm continuing to place my houses strategically. I got a lot of trees, a lot of natural sort of divides in the land that are going to help me out quite a bit here. Also, I noticed when he checked out his deck earlier, he didn't have anything for the sea, but I have learned to be careful of that because Sporting Lisbon wiped my buttocks off the sea without having a single sea deck in his card with the almighty canoe spam. At any rate, I'm continuing on just with longbows and pikes at this point. And, I'm starting to really get annoyed there. I just know I have a big mess of villagers, and I rang the bell, but those villagers really didn't need to be put in, so I put them back to where they should be. Meanwhile, I've tried to send my Control 2, which is my pikemen, over to that area. He's also got some ranged infantry with him, some Setons, which are a good unit if they're standing still, but if they have to move around, they don't do so well. So in some aspects, they're like a longbow. Longbows are a good unit if they're standing still, but if they're moving around, not so much. And he is got an army which it's not necessarily that much better than mine at this point, but does have potential to inflict some damage, potential to catch villagers off guard. Like I'm walking my entire villager population across the map, doing all that sort of stuff. You'll also know that I know very little of the map, his map layout at this point, which I'm not exactly thrilled about. However, you can't win them all. One of the things I hate about Brit houses, which maybe I don't know if I should have built them like that, is once you start building them, you cannot cancel them due to the potential for abuse because of, manners spamming villagers and whatnot. One of the things is when I pop villagers into my town center to fire, I'm trying to keep it just at 10, or if I overestimate by a couple, that's okay. But I don't want to pop like 25 and halt such a massive amount of my eco just to get some villagers going. And again, I'm ending up with an excess of wood here, and the idea is to just manor boom, sitting behind these manors. Like that's just what I want to do. Keep booming, sitting back, massing longbows and pikes, and the plan is to add in hussars after. And generally speaking, that's my plan in a lot of matches as Brits. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes not so well. And he is still in age 2. We are at the 11-minute mark of the match. And I want to be able to delete those manors right now because he's going to kill them, get XP for them. I have not got a villager out of them yet. I'm going to lose wood as a result. That bugs me. But what are you going to do? And there is the 4 villager, the last piece to that puzzle. So I'll reiterate that build. So of course you go 3 vills, then once you hit colonial, 700 wood, 5 vills, 600 wood, 4 vills, generally speaking. Also want to say a moment about, or also take a minute to talk about a build. This is just philosophy according to Drew, but a build is just that. It's a build. It's nothing more to it. You need to be able to adapt. Sometimes if you just follow a strict build and you get yourself in these situations where, guess what, there's a wrench in things. Adaptation just doesn't work. And I throw up a stables there. Stables will be control 4. Also throw up these little wall segments there, just to get a little extra line of sight over that gold mine, which isn't exactly strategically placed. And one of the things as the game gets to points like this, managing the eco becomes messy. I'm trying to keep things moving fast. I'm trying to stay upbeat. I'm trying to be moving things with my fingers, trying to be thinking about a lot of decisions. It's tough though. It's just one of those things that, well, let me put it like this. It's real easy to move fast early game, and it's real easy to move fast when you have the advantage. But sometimes when things start to get ugly, I don't know why, I just kind of freeze a little bit sometimes. And of course I'm burning over my pikes and elbows there to do some protection. He's smart, he knows better than that, he gets that cav out of there. And in my head I'm kind of going, what is going on? Why is he massing so many axe riders and just a little bit of ranged infantry? Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm like, I don't think he's going to be able to kill all those pikes and get in there. And then I'm thinking in my head, ooh, he's got that Morning Star card in my deck. And I'm thinking, well, that's going to own the crap out of my cav and my pikes if he micros them well, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. So anyway, I sent schooners next. And I'm like, ooh, sea? I'm like, I remember watching a nice game of Nature Phoenix going on the sea. I was like, one thing I do on the sea is I tend to have I tend to overdo it. I'm like, I'm not going to go nuts with like 3 or 4 docks. I'm just going to make 2 docks. And I noticed he's got a rhino down there. I'm like, ah, crap. He can see that I'm going C2. I'm like, I don't really like that very much at all. I delete those little wall segments that are doing nothing but costing me wood without having them actually be built. Meanwhile, my, and I'm, ooh, wow. He's gone, rifle riders, and he's got a hell of a lot of them. And I've got some longbows which do good versus them. My pikes and my cav do not. However, I don't have much of a choice but to fight with them. I can't just let them sit back unranged. They've got to get in there. I accidentally selected my villager in there. Make sure I get him out of there so those pikes can walk there faster. And I go to my market here real quick. Don't know if I've done it yet, but I do it, or I already did it, yep. And to get Minutemen just to help fight that battle. I also noticed I have a shipment coming. I'm thinking, do I send 6 longbows or colonial militia? At this point, I'm like, let's go for 6 longbows, because he doesn't have any hand cav in there. And I'm looking at the town center going, ooh, yeah, that's not too bad then. That ranged, or the hand cav shows up, the axe rider. I'm like, oh no, he's going to flank and get those longbows, and I've already sent my longbows. I'm like, do I cancel it? I don't know what to do in this situation. Meanwhile, I've got more longbows coming out. So what do? Start fighting with my villagers. Seems like the only logical thing to do. I've got all the researchers upgraded. Pop them in, fire, pop them out. Sometimes right now I've just got 10 in and I'm firing. I'm just fighting with them. I don't really care. I can fight with them. I can cause a lot of damage with them. When all else fails as Brits, you gotta fight with your villagers. And then look at, I kind of go to box them in there. I end up, you know, getting a lot of those. Put 10 back in there just so those 10 can get that maximum firing damage on them. And at this point, score-wise, the game looks like, yeah, I've got a bit of an advantage here. And I'm like, yes. Got a bit of an advantage economically. Have no military, though, so I don't know that I can necessarily push. And I'm starting to think, I also have basically no resources at this point. I have 200 food, like 30 wood, and 30 coins, so I can't actually really do anything with this. I have 1 villager training, like, what am I going to do? Put 10 vills in my TC, start fighting with my vills again. I have to. Like, I don't really have much of another choice. So my problem is I'm losing some vills to this, and this is going to hurt. At this point in the game, I believe I have 45 villagers, or some plus or minus 1 or 2. I choose send colonial militia. And I'm looking for things to gather. I did manage to get enough wood, or had enough wood to train 2 pikemen. It's amazing what 2 pikemen would do in a situation like this. It can save you more grief than can be imagined. And he's also got that rifle rider too, which is really annoying. I'm not sure that he can even see the 2 pikemen in this right there. I'm just hoping though that you know, I've got a little bit of luck on my side here, and there's not masses of cav. I know he's trying to mass it as best he can at this point for sure, but geez, you know, you just do what you can. It's also awesome with these villagers. You'll notice, man, they got some pretty good range going on there. Like that's just nice to have. And I've got colonial militia at my town center now, and I'm just like, nice, that's fun. I got my tower firing, plus that, plus pop them out, garrison. Pop them out, fight, garrison. And basically what I'm doing is pressing N, and I've set them to control 1 as a hotkey. I press N, garrison, shoot for a second. Hopefully the idea is you can get a shot in before their attack animation kicks in, and eventually, look at, he just says, you know what, he's just going to lose all those, he gets out of there. My eco, however, has been at a halt for some time. Our score is now within 5 of each other, so that is very close in terms of score. I'm going to choose to get those docks going full speed. And you'll notice my eco, I just put out all the villagers to wood. Not even necessarily sure what I was thinking, possibly because I'm not even sure what I'm going to do at this point in the game. Score is now pulled a few points ahead. He's ahead by 8 points on me. And I'm thinking, you know, Brits to be behind Sioux, 8 points. God, and I hate it when I go to transport villagers through and I accidentally hit B instead of N. Just drives me nuts. And I queue up a whole bunch of ships, and I still got wood rolling in like mad. As you can imagine, with 44 vills with the gang saw upgrade, which is about, you know, 10%, so 50 vills or so. And I'm thinking, I'm like, do I want to really do this? I'm real tempted right now to put up more docks, which goes against everything I do, because I've overboomed so many times, and I've had it not work so many times, even though there's nothing more satisfying than throwing in, you know, like all of these, like throwing in all of these ships to, or not ships, all of these docks, just get going and get mad eco, and then, you know, you can jump from, like, you end up being an age 2 for a long time, but you can go age 2 to like age 4 as soon as you get like to that 100 villager point in a matter of just like moments. Here I'm at 3 docks, and I'm kind of still going like, geez, I still got a lot of excess of wood. So I queue up some schooner ships from it, but you know what, I'm like, I still got so much wood pumping in, and I'm trying to set the rally point there, so I zoom in. Sometimes I find it hard when they're already gathering, so I just quickly use the roll feature the mouse. Meanwhile, I'm really just concerned about Cav. He's still in age 2. And I'm still just getting max population up with these manors here. I still know so little about his base and the layout of the whole map in general, which is, you know, pretty frustrating. This, you know, I'm not sure what to do. So basically the only thing I can do is go off what I've seen, and the only thing I've seen right now is that he's got a lot of hand cavalry, and I need to know more, but I don't. So I have to go off that. Well, hand cavalry, you need anti-cav, right? Pikes. I originally go to send fast infantry there, but I'm like, I'm going sea booming hard here. I want that card that gives me 30% on whales, 30% on fish. I'm thinking like this in my head. Ooh, look at that. I go for a 4th dock, And imagine that, I go for a 5th dock. I've got 5 docks. Who in their right of mind makes 5 docks? Well, don't ask me what I was thinking, but I'm like, ooh, let's go for 5 docks. Start transferring groups of 4 to the whales, because I know that with 5 docks, I'm going to exhaust the sea pretty quickly. I don't mind if I have a massive amount of gold either. I can exchange it at the market. I can go to the saloon. I can do any of these things. Also decide to put up a wall here. And I notice he's coming in. Hoo with his hand cavalry, but I've got pikes. He might get a couple vills here. And he knows that I'm on the sea, but he doesn't seem to be bothered by that fact at this point. And in fact, it takes him a long time to really be bothered by it. He's pretty good at keeping those cav alive, though, and harassing and causing me grief. In reality, what I should do right here is, you don't need 30 pike chasing a group of 6 cav. I should have 15 on one side of my base and 15 on the other, or, you know, roughly equal groups. And as you can see in this scenario, that's where, you know, it could have benefited to have the pikemen split into equal groups on either side of the map. Speaking of VODs and performance and stuff, or not performance, just VODs in general, looking for something to OP to happen in here, like phone calls, stuff falling off. I don't know, we'll see if anything happens. That's about that. That's all I'm gonna have to say for now. Got nothing planned, and never ever really planned. It just seems to always happen. And you know, all those houses, those building placements, those wall segments are doing wonders for line of sight, keeping my eco alive. Meanwhile, I've got my docks all set to control 7, and I'm just going nuts on the schooners, because these villagers are just gathering away. And in fact, I'm starting to realize that I still have too much. And in fact, here he has gone to age 4, and I am still in age 2, and I'm going, uh-oh. And I can't remember what I typed there, but I think I typed, crap, I'm dead, or something like that to him. Don't ask me why, I just kind of like to type that to guys, like real high up, you know, even if I don't really mean it. In reality, I thought, like, oh, you know, he's got something sneaky up his sleeve that's just going to own me, right? It seems to happen. Meanwhile, you can see I'm just looking at the whales, I'm just sort of microing them, and I've got, well, I guess, macroing them, because you're your economy. If you want to call it that. Can you micro your eco? Or macro? I don't even know what it is. Regardless, I'm getting them set up on the whales, and I've got the long lines researching as well. I get the other fast fish and whale card. When you think about it, okay, the 2 upgrades from the dock, 10 and 20%, and then the 30% card and the 20% card. So your shipments alone, the 20 and the 30, gives you 50, and then 30 more from your dock. That gives you plus 80% gather to those fishing boats, which is just simply awesome. Like, I mean, that's just great. So each one of those fishing boats is gathering, you know, they gather a little slower than a villager, so let's say 1.6 times quicker than a villager. So maybe 1.5, but not much. I'm going to put up a 3rd barracks here also, and then in fact I believe I'm putting up a 4th there. Still keeping them to my hotkey of control 5, which is going to prove useful later when I just turn this into a total spam fest. My stables are set to control 4. And again, I still know very little about this map. I'm just worrying about booming like insanely mad, especially because I know he's age 4. He is going to push right away. Ransom my explorer. My idea is just to walk the explorer over. I don't care if he dies, but I want to get a view of what kind of army he's making. You know, like I'm thinking here, I contemplate, do I need to make a whole bunch of dragoons? Does he have a massive cav army behind there? And, you know, if I do, you know, depending on what he's got behind there, let's say he's got Wakinas and I've got like mass dragoons, well, that's just absolutely stupid of me. Longbow hussar or musket hussar is usually a little bit safer, just simply because they're a little more versatile. You know, if you have, and I notice, though there's some medicine men, I don't know what he had those for, but I noticed, oh man, he's got mass Wakinas, so I'm thinking I need longbows and hussars. I put up 2 more stables right away, and that is the exact thought process that went through my head as soon as I saw that, which is going to show maybe how scouting saved a lot of trouble there. This is another example where if I had my pikes split into 2 groups on either side there, things might have been different. I also here, I do the classic Strokey Blofeld move, which is going straight from H2 to H4, no villager production in between. Also go to upgrade my Pikes, Hussars, Longbowmen, all to veteran status. The kind of one unfortunate thing about queuing up so many other cards and sending the not queuing up, but sending so many other cards and sending resource gather cards is that I don't have the longbow range card, which is, plus it gives you the guard status, which is kind of a nice card to have. But regardless, I made the decision I made to go super heavy on the sea. 5 docks, still booming from 5 docks. I believe when I looked at the graph after the game, said I made 65 boats and 85 villagers or something. I lost tons too. I end up losing tons, and just all those ones throughout the course of the game have added up. So I never end up being, having like 140 pop of eco or anything. I believe, the highest I get is like 105 pop of eco or something like that. You can see it's got those docks going, those veteran upgrades going. I get the second wood upgrade, which is really poor on my behalf. I should have paid more closer attention to that, but I just didn't. Got my Hussars. So right now my longbows control 1, Pike control 2, Hussars control 3, and that's pretty standard for me playing Brit. Usually works pretty good. In terms of me being able to control everything, find where everything is. I'm just kind of keeping my eye on the mini-map for any masses of anything walking in. Right here I noticed that there's some prowlers on that side. I'm just going to send longbowmen over because they'll do quite well against them. I'm kind of wondering what's behind those, and I'm kind of wondering if he's got a massive siege dance or anything. I am happy, however, to have caught up to him in terms of score and in terms of age. We're now on the same page. I'm not sure who produces a better age for army. I know that generally speaking I will have better eco than him, regardless of C-boom or not. It's just the way the matchup goes. However, I'm really concerned that him combining Hussars him combining attack dance with his mighty army of Wakinas and everything else is going to cause me a lot of troubles. That factory wagon almost comes out in a very ugly place. Managed to queue it up though. Also, the only guard upgrade I can get right there, because I've got a decent amount of resources, is for Hussars, so I say go for it, throw the Hussar upgrade. Not sure if that wagon was just pathing that way, but I kind of reset it and get it going. I'm just trying to keep my army back here, keep those cannons attacking, keep those pikes a little far forward, just because Sioux has a lot of units that can do good damage. Here it's turned very hard to micro because of lag for a minute, and my objective there was to just get those vills out of there. And he's actually housed me right there just by killing 2 houses, so I can't be queuing it up any units, and that proves to be huge. I need to have a couple more town centers for more pop space, and that very last house, because you can make houses up to 200 you make 20 houses for 200 pop, but then you can have 3 town centers for kind of like 230 pop, even though you don't get to make 230 pop. If you kill a house, when you have 230, you're still at 200, but it does allow you to have some flexibility there. My pikemen, I'm not too sure what to do with them. I pull them back, and I just kind of hang out there for a little bit. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to spam mostly Hussars, because I'm thinking he doesn't have too much in way of units there. And I'm thinking that, I'm looking at this and I'm going, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. That 2 cannon shipment from Aging, or 2 cannon age-up politician ends up to prove to be pretty good, pretty useful, pretty helpful. However, I'm getting outmassed here. I click check on some of these little guys by clicking. He's on attack dance, and his score has now exceeded mine substantially, and I'm kind of sweating. At this point, of course, I send the second factory, which, aside from maybe longbow range, seems to be the obvious choice. I'm also going to pop 10 villagers into my town center, just because 135 town fire seems to be always a good choice. He doesn't have much in the way of anti-cap here. So I'm just going to keep my economies kind of set up for longbows Hussars. I'm just going to try to keep him keep spamming those units as best as I can. And I can't remember what I'm doing ransoming my explorer right here, but I just ransom him and he dies. I think I was going to actually get a second town center for him, just because I know my C is going to run out soon, and I know that and that's kind of a gutsy place to put a factory wagon. Also, I know my C is going to run out, and I know it might be useful also to have colonial militia from another town center to pop out those, large, massive Minutemen plus the 135 town center fire times 2 town centers. Also, as I put the church up there, configuring my factories to what I'm going to need the most here. I have an excess of wood. I'm probably going to need as much gold. Just because I'm just spamming hussars, not like muskets too or anything like that. So you notice there, he's got a mass of Wakinas. I'm like, well, those hussars will slow him down. Go to my town center in a bit here, and I'm going to pop out a big colonial militia, which is going to help a lot. I notice he also got those prowlers sitting there, but whatever. So I'm doing this, and at this point the battle's not looking good, because those guys with, I'm assuming there's 25 vills on attack now, because they have a lot of attack. Can't remember exact number, but it's pretty high. I'm thinking, this is just going to be a matter of this. Does he have the economy to keep up this spam forever? I call out the colonial militia, which of course helps, because it just basically buys me some time, is what it does. He can't not attack those guys, because if they do, they're just going to slowly dwindle that army down, and it's going to hurt, especially when I've got hussars spamming. Meanwhile, he's got those Tashunke, or whatever they're pronounced, prowlers, coming out. I have the 2 Falk shipmen come out, which ends up kind of going to waste almost. Could be more effective. I'm trying to manage my eco a little bit at the same time. I'm kind of not sure what to do there. I just let that shipment die, because my cav is already engaged with its attack animation and all that on his cavalry, or on his infantry, I should say. And being at the fact that I have guard hussars here, I'm very happy about that. Also, when I put up the church there, I did decide to research. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember offhand, but it's for quick cavalry, minus 50% cav training time. I do have an arsenal up there. I'm not sure what upgrades I've got at this point in the game. The only upgrade I end up getting from it, just for lack of thinking about it and massive amounts of things going on, is the cav HP. And at this point, I'm thinking in the game, like, man, this has been one heck of a game so far. I'd be happy just to post it up as it is, even if I lose, simply because, like, with villager fights and the madness of a 5-dock sea boom and everything else that's included, like, it's just insane. It really is. I'm getting a second town center up there. The reason is this, is I know I'm going to have to delete a whole bunch of these boats pretty quick here. I am fortunate, though. I have 2 factories up. I am going to have 3 town centers up soon, so even if my vill count drops to 70 for a bit, it's not going to be a huge blow economically, and I already have to start deleting, because by the time they get to those 2 little, like, dealies left, there's going to be not very, there's not going to be any fish for them to gather, so I might as well just delete them now when I have them selected. I'm walking in here, and I'm thinking, you know what, I've got a pretty good mass here, longbow hussar, in a situation that's more manageable than in my own base. They're going to, and I see he's got 2 docks right there. And I go, oh, darn it. Like, he finally caught me on sea. He finally paid attention. Go back to my docks there. I'm like, I'm going to need some more wood. Switch my factories to wood. And I'm like, well, let's just make some caravels and hope to God I can just buy some time on the sea. That's really all I need. I just don't want that eco on the sea, especially when I've invested so many cards, to come to a grinding halt right away. Get a nice cannon spam going on, though. 5 cannons does the body good. Better than milk, trust me. So I'm rolling in here. I'm just thinking, like, oh yeah, let's take down this front base. And I'm not sure what his eco status is at this point. Like I said, I've had no time to look at his map. And then I'm going, oh no, those rifle riders are going to just eat those 5 cannons. Oh, and trust me, they do. However, my hussars have gone straight towards his infantry there. And I notice, oh great, canoes are coming on the sea. But in my head I'm thinking, like, I just don't know what's going to play out here. Also notice there's a tame polar bear in my base. But as long as it's not Bucky the tame wolf, I'm okay with that. Just because that guy's giving me more grief than ever. And I hate that situation where I'm absolutely murdering the unit I'm supposed to counter, and then a unit that I need to get off cannons comes in, so I have to move away from that. Just one of those unfortunate realities. Probably there was no chance in saving them anyway. I probably should have just let them continue on the counter unit. Would have been more cost effective as it was. Starting to get an influx of wood again. Didn't mean to build a tower, so I meant to make a mill instead. Also, thinking about the fact that the factories are on wood. I think about that soon, and I reconsider what they're set to. start to take out his stables here, and I'm starting to push, and I'm starting to think that I'm going to encounter some resistance soon. I noticed that my caravels, I don't really see what happened on the sea, but I noticed he's ran away, so that's a good sign that he's a little bit scared and that he can't really afford to do a quick mass of 20 canoes or 10 or a significant amount that would hurt me. I noticed that he's got a couple axe riders there that do have a potential to threaten my army. And here I go, switching my factories back to food and going for the food upgrade. And I'm just going to push right here. And I think that that's, the best course of action to do. Meanwhile, I'm getting rid of some of those excess fishing boats. My villager count is plummeting, but the fact that I have 2 factories up and about to have the research food on one, because I want them on food, because I don't have a ton of it. It's just sweet. And he says, good game. I've pushed him too much. He's got no eco left. I scroll around the map because I know I had a VOD recording, and I look at the scenario. I see what's up. Hey, look, there's my 5 docks. Proof of the pudding of the insanity of 5 docks. There's my caravels. I mean, he's got about 8 canoes there, which we wouldn't have stood a chance against 5 caravels. Let's look at the post-game graph. Villager count, always first one I go to. I'm red. Look at that insanity. Weird, weird, weird. All resources gathered. I'm behind him for a while, but I catch up with the boom. That's military unit population. You can see where all the zigzags were at the bottom there. That was just the spam war in my base. Thanks for watching, guys. It was a good game.